Yaul. Welcome to another episode of the Dojo. I know, it's been forever since I've done one of these things. I'm going to today tackle Takeda, since his tower just came out not too long ago, and I figured, why not? These premier towers that are focused on the characters, they do 2 fights for each variation, so I figured it's the perfect way for me to talk about a variation while I'm seeing what's going on. So I'm watching what's going on and live commenting on it. Takeda has always been one of my favorite characters. Oh, intro.
Come
Always gotta be
closer.
quiet in the intros.
You can look, but you can't touch.
I will show you what I can do.
Round 1. Fight.
Right, so back on track. Takeda's been my favorite of the new generation characters, being the son of Kenshi and trained by Scorpion. And the training from Scorpion is evident in the SHAREfactory variation you're seeing here. Lots of Scorpion-inspired moves. For example, he's capable of using his blade whips, which you just saw there in that sweet combo, to spear the opponent, pull him in, and punch him in the face. When meter burn, he can spear both and then slam them down for a pop-up. He's also got one that does it in the air, thus allowing you to spear opponents trying to jump in at you and take him on down. This can also be meter burned into a pop-up, which is very, very nice. His back triangle is a big reaching overhead, which can be slow, but to set it up, you do back square, square, triangle. I know, that combo that was just there. What that does is that it knocks the opponent down, and then it gives you enough time to kind of slam them down. Oh, brutality! Yeah, that is exclusive to the SHAREfactory variation, and you have to end the fight with a meter-burned teleport. I know I'm a little bit crazy right now, but that's just how I roll. Takeda is fast when he's up close and personal, but he also really specializes in the mid-range game, you know, with his whips, which means that he's gotta find a good balance between the two, which is good. Ooh, Devora. I love beating on Devora. It's just something that I do. I hate bugs. But I will say that, again, like I said, 2 fights in each of the variations. Shutting up for the intro.
You are Scorpion?
Trained by Scorpion.
This one is an empress.
Masks.
Round 1. Fight.
Alright, so back on track. Another really good combo is just triangle, square, triangle, which are these buttons here. And they're really good for, it's just a good mid attack, and it's very fast as well. I should really start using different terminology, but whatever. I should also mention, as always, when I say away, I mean relative to your character's position. You see where Takeda is on the left over there, or whatever. That means that away will be left, my left, your right. But that's a great example right there. But on the right side, now back is to my right, which would be your left on the screen over here, because this is my right hand. Hello. But it's worth noting because a lot of people seem to have trouble with this when they're first starting out in Mortal Kombat, so just keep that in mind. It's not too crazy, but once you get the hang of it, it is absolutely perfect. This brutality, when I try it a second time, this brutality, you just have to hit square or triangle 4 times, or hit both of them twice while the throw's going on,
Try that again.
and there you go. But you also have to kill the opponent with that brutality, so it's not totally unfair. But yeah, just something to keep in mind with Takeda, with that brutality. And it's universal. He does it in all variations, so that's neat. The next variation is one of my personal favorites, Lasher. He uses the whips more. He has a low scoop that can pop up or just drag you out, and instead of the flurry of punches you would have seen a few times throughout the previous couple of rounds. Oh,
Little Kenshi.
This is gonna get
he's a
ugly.
dick.
Won't even get my hands dirty. Round 1. Fight.
Right. As I was saying, the flurry punches turn into a furious lashing from his whips. It's huge and does a lot of damage. And what's cool is that it pops you up, allowing you to repeat the process. I tried there, but I failed, but you'll see it again. Here. Shoot, shoot, I can't help myself sometimes. Takeda really is good at facing against slow, close-range opponents like Kotal Khan and Goro, because he can stuff them with his combos, especially in Lasher, and keep a combo going with the meter burn Lasher, and punish them for trying to run at them. However, he doesn't fare too well in most variations against ranged characters. Full auto Jackie Briggs, and Who else is there? Full auto Jackie Briggs. Marksman Aaron Black too. Characters who are really good at playing keep away with the zoning. That's something you got to keep in mind when you're playing against Takeda. Use those kinds of guys to your advantage. But Takeda in Shirai Ryu and in another variation, which I'll gladly show after once this whole Lasher set is done, do have means of either counter zoning or just going past the zoning and coming back. Takeda really doesn't have something like that in Lasher. The closest thing he's got is that he has a few normals, like the jumping front punch when you hold forward gets a lot more range. And he's got a low poke, which I think I opened with Reptile on, where he crouches and then he swipes the whip. That's a pretty good anti-zoning tactic, but it only works so well. You really don't have all of the range in the world with those whips, so you don't have a whole lot of options. Right, with Reptile, this is going to be quite interesting. I also like to try and show off different combos so that you can see what they're like. Oh, and a quick note about Reptile. I know this is a Takeda video, but really important with Reptile. His invisibility in this variation, Deceptive, allows him to soak up a hit and take no damage whatsoever. So if you anticipate a big attack, X-Ray, go invisible, and then let the opponent X-Ray you, suddenly they're going to be sorely disappointed. It's a great means to kind of soak up a little bit of damage and keep yourself going. Oh, and one other thing about Takeda, his X-ray has to be done in the air. So what I try here and eventually land is, that last one there before the combo was the thing, is I try and land a jump kick, which does the most amount of damage. And here's the X-ray. Like I said, you have to do it in the air. So unlike Devora, who can do it both in the air and on the ground, you have to be in the air, which can be problematic because your opponent can see it coming from a mile away. But that's why you do the jump and kicks anyway. You jump and kick, it pops them up just enough. They ain't going nowhere. Off with his legs! With a pretty sweet brutality as well.
Try that again?
Yeah, despite the whole problem with ranged characters, Lasher's probably my favorite variation with Takeda. Shirai Ryu sometimes overtakes it, but yeah. The final variation that will be shown is Ronin. This variation actually has a projectile that I didn't end up using too much because I forgot that I had it. I'll talk about it more, after this intro with Kotal Khan.
Do you mock me?
I'm honored by your presence.
I shall honor you with combat. Round 1. Fight.
Swedenheim. Okay, now, yeah, he's got lightsabers now that he uses for his normals instead of whips. He does still use the whips in one combo, which I butch, and his X-ray, but otherwise, all of his whip normals get replaced with faster but slightly lesser ranged pulse saber attacks, which is what they call them in this game, but really they're lightsabers. He also has the ability to drop them and quick call them to fake out the opponent, or as you saw there, actually call them back, which is a powerful attack. I should mention right now that I do mess up trying to land that brutality on the last opponent, so spoiler alert, but it's something to keep in mind because, yeah, I do mess up. But the brutality I went for here was the stage brutality because I figured I was going to land it. I was overconfident. I got cocky. I fucked up, but that's okay. Also bad language. But the brutality is basically the last hit with the lightsaber cuts them in half. And they kind of fall to pieces, literally. Good stuff. And I'm trying to bait him over so that I can take him out. And lightsaber, yeah, there's the projectile. And you can actually meter burn that so it's a beam, so the opponent can't reflect it, and it does more damage. And if you want to zone with him, as of the most recent patch, you can. Literally that fast, or even faster. And to fake out the opponent, beam, so that if they think they can get smart and reflect, then problem, you can't, you're down, and then they either have to block or teleport or something to get past you. Oh, this intro is pretty cool. With the Scorpion, sometimes he will speak in Japanese to Takeda. I am not able to speak Japanese, so I have no idea what he says, but I'll shut up.
Takeda.
Hanzo Hasashi.
Itami wa kanjuru daru. Round 1.
There you go.
Fight.
And yes, Patrick Seitz can at least read and probably actually speak Japanese. Anyhow, do you like the Scorpion back there? Sorry for the distraction, but Yeah, being trained by Scorpion, it was only natural that at the end of this tower he would have to face off against Scorpion. That rising attack is really good anti-air because it's still active even up until he stops rising. So until he stops rising, he can attack you with that. And that tornado kick's pretty good at faking out, then coming back, and is a great overhead for striking at distance. And I got that again. Please, Scorpion, stab. I mean, I guess it made sense that I wouldn't slice him in half. I mean, Scorpion's my master, basically, so there you go. And, do I land? Thanks for the workout. I'm pretty sure I land the X right here, but... yeah, there's not a whole lot else that I can cover with Takeda. It's just, he's pretty sweet. There's not a whole lot else that comes to mind. Oh! There we go. Probably something that you would really like to know is that Takeda does take a little bit of time to figure out. It certainly did with me. He's not a character that you can just start with, like Reptile or Scorpion. You have to take a little bit of time in the practice mode and on the tower to figure out, oh, this is what I need to do with this guy. This is how I do things in the life of Takeda, that sort of thing. It's not as simple as pick up Scorpion and use. And since I butched that, since I did it too late, here's a faction kill. Lin Kuei, strike! Smoke. But yeah, I'm part of the Lin Kuei, so there you go. Apparently I did pretty poorly on the tower, actually. I don't know, like, how I got bronze, since I killed the person with brutalities a bunch of times. It's probably because I did, lose a lot of health. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like I just lost a lot of health. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. DFTBA, and always stay